ready to go in the ring. Remember, we've got that big 8-man tag. It'll be coming up as our expiration of time match. Here is the King. Jerry, my boy. We are on what is not quite the eve, but doggone near it, a World Heavyweight Title match with your old nemesis, Nick Bockwinkel, coming in here.
Well, Lance, you know, I've been preparing for this match for months now, for a long, long time. Now, first of all, I thought I was going to wrestle Rick Martel.
Rick Martel, right.
Now, I've been watching films of Rick Martel's matches now for about 6 weeks. Every spare minute I get, I sit down, I put in a cassette, and I'm watching Rick Martel. And the reason I do this is so, you know, just to try to pick up a pattern, try to get his moves, get real familiar with his moves, his counters, his, you know, so that when I know what he's going to do before he does it. That's what I want to know about Rick Martel. So I've been watching him for 6 weeks. Then we have the title match signed. They call me and say, Rick Martel's elbow's injured. He's not going to be able to show up. So, you know, the hopes go down there, and then I get another call about 3 days later, and they said, well, he's better. He's going to be here the following week. So, boy, I get the cassettes back out. I'm watching the tapes again. 2 days after that, I get another call. Rick Martel has lost the belt to Nick Bockwinkel. I throw my arms up in the air, throw the cassettes out the window, because I don't need to watch any tapes of Nick Bockwinkel, Lance. As you know, as Nick Bockwinkel knows all too well, I've had many matches with him. And everybody thought that I'd be upset. Eddie Marlin, when he called, he said, I got some bad news. You're not going to be wrestling Martel. You're going to be wrestling Bockwinkel. And I said, Eddie, that couldn't be better news, because as you know, and all the fans know, and Nick Bockwinkel knows most importantly, I've beaten that man in the past in title matches, and I can do it again, and he knows it, and I know it. And Monday night, I'm going to have that big AWA World Heavyweight Championship belt, Lance, right around my waist.
Jerry, let me ask you something that I've been wondering. The statement that you publicly made out here, the fact that you were going to win the world title in 1985 or retire, has that put unnecessary pressure on Jerry Lawler, and particularly coming in there against Bockwinkel in a world match?
Well, it's, you know, it has put a lot of pressure. I'll tell you one thing it did.
Some extra pressure.
It caused a lot of attention. I've had calls from all the wrestling magazines, all the reporters around the country have called about it. Everybody picked up on it. And, you know, when you make a statement like that, people are going to listen to it. And I'm sure Bockwinkel, you know, I'm sure that it will give Bockwinkel a little extra incentive, because he has the same feelings about me that I have about him. That's one good thing I like about this match, Lance. In wrestling Rick Martel, it was going to be sort of like the confrontation I had with Steve Kern last week. When you go in there against a guy that you really don't have anything against, it's really hard for me to get motivated. I was sitting and wondering, I was thinking, now, Rick Martel is the kind of a guy, he's the kind of a champion who likes to abide by the rules. You're not going to find a lot of punching. You're not going to find a lot of kicking with a guy. And I'm sitting there thinking, how am I going to get a chance to pull the strap? Well, I don't have to worry about that with Nick Bockwinkel, because he don't like me, and, brother, I don't like him. So when I get in there with Bockwinkel, I'm going to start off from the word go, and I'm going to give him the worst beating of his life. And when he gets through, he's going to have no doubt in his mind who the World Heavyweight Champion is.
Now, Jerry, all I can tell you is they don't come along every day. Take advantage of the one that's here, and good luck to you coming up Monday night.
Well, can I stay here for just a minute? I understand we have some word from Bockwinkel.
Yeah, the Beverly Hills champion is sitting back feeling very much in the driver's seat. Let's hear what Bockwinkel had to say about it.
All right, wrestling fans, as you can see with me, a very happy Nick Bockwinkel. For those of you that don't know, in a match held this past week in Canada, Nick Bockwinkel seemingly defeated Rick Martel to become, for the 4th time, heavyweight champion of the world. However, Nick Bockwinkel, the decision as controversial as there has ever been. The championship committee still not fully convinced just exactly who is world champion.
But they have pointed their finger at me. I presently have the belt. So it is simple, and as we all know, usually the first step of a long journey points out to the rest of the trip. I cannot see in any possible way the championship committee can decide anything but the way they already are thinking. The thing I guess I like the most about this is the fact that, 1, I have regained what is mine. 2, I have to pick up Mr. Martel's championship schedule, and hearken forsooth, lo and behold, where does it take me? To Memphis, to Mr. Jerry Lawler, who has for ages called himself the king of wrestling. And a lot of cretinous humanoids in that part of the country seen be fit to call him the king of wrestling, when in actuality, folks, you are looking at the king of wrestling, the king of sports. Mr. Lawler, I can't think of a more glorious, inspiring way for me to step back into the championship slot than for me to go into the ring with you, who I have had many previous battles in which you were not able to attain the heavyweight championship. Now, I really don't care to wrestle you. I really don't. I don't consider you a great wrestler. You're a hell of a man as far when it comes to Fist City. But that's not the name of the game. But you still have cut your niche. And it won't make any bit of difference. Because as the lights seem to be going out, they're going to go out for you, my man, because I'll give it to you plain and simple. I'm going to get away from Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm still going to be the heavyweight champion, and I'll enjoy kicking you from post to post all over.
Well, fans, it appears he said what he was going to do. For the 4th time heavyweight champion of the world, Nick Bockwinkel. We'll be back.
Lance, it's going to give me great pleasure. It's going to put a big smile on my face, and it's going to do my heart real good to make him the shortest-lived champion in AWA history, because he just won the belt last week, and when he loses it this week, he's going to be walking out of Memphis with egg on his face and no belt around his waist.
All right, that's what I like to hear. Yeah.
And by the way, we watched a little special earlier on Nick Bockwinkel that was apparently edited by Nick Bockwinkel. I have had some matches in which I fared a little better against him. Why don't we show one of those now? Could we do that?
We're going to do exactly that. Again, good luck to you, Jerry. We'll see you in the ring here in a minute. Right now, let's take a look at just what Jerry's talking about. The King in action.